HBA is a visionary leader, founded over 40 years ago, the same time the women's health movement was formed to improve healthcare for all women. I was in high school. My favorite class was French and had a job in a pharmaceutical company. Decades later, the UN Beijing Declaration for Action created global policy for gender equality, focusing on women's health so women could realize their full health potential. And as a manager in healthcare, I was following the news to figure out how to get involved and make a difference. But it was a tough time for women. We were making only 77 cents to the dollar a man earned. And personally, I had my own challenges. In addition to my day job at Pfizer, I took on an interim role filling in for a male vice president who was on medical leave. I surprised my male boss, I knocked it out of the park, and he learned from me. So I asked for a promotion to vice president, and I got pushback and lots of excuses. So I remade my pitch, and I was already contributing at a vice president level with compelling proof points, and I got promoted. I learned the importance of self-advocacy. That was the hardest rung in my career ladder. But once I got there, the opportunities were abundant. I launched a women's mentoring program. I led the Women's Council advancing the company's diversity strategy, and I became a high potential to be a country manager. So now leading the women's health business, I advocated for the health needs of women around the world. The guys in suits wanted to know if there was a there for investment. They said they don't understand women's health or know what it is, other than their wife or their sister complaining about it. So we created a strategy to address what women want. It was innovative, it was profitable, and it was possible through partnerships. They understood women's health, and they thanked us for the strategy, but they didn't invest. So I needed a new challenge that had greater impact. I rose to the C-suite as chief of staff for the head of the innovative business, developing and commercializing the company's new medicines. It was an exciting role, but it made me pause. I had to drop a grade level, and I had to learn the job on my own. I wasn't prepared. Nobody explained how different it is in the C-suite. I learned about the importance of poise, presence, and savviness. But I was on 24/7, and I sacrificed my personal life. It was worth it. It was the best job, and it taught me so much. What was rewarding about it is to help influence the board to invest in the business, to build investor confidence, and to travel the world inspiring colleagues. So after serving the business tirelessly, I learned what's possible when my boss became my sponsor. My dream job was to lead a business internationally. 2 years and a day, I moved to Dubai to lead the Africa Middle East business. My sponsor wanted to know if there was a there for investment. I took a risk to move to the desert for a lateral move and meet with customers in countries I hadn't imagined: Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Algeria. We exceeded expectations and grew the $300 million business by 14%. I was grateful to lead the Women's Council, launch a women's mentoring program, and to influence the leadership team to create diversity goals with incentives that would advance women. I walked in your shoes, experiencing bias for promotion, being demoted to get ahead, and taking risks through a lateral move on a volatile business to make an impact. My journey taught me the importance of self-advocacy, sponsorship, and supporting other women. When you believe in yourself, possibilities are abundant. So as we think about healthcare in the world today, the issues during my journey and in the world still exist. Women continue to be held back and unable to lead to their full potential. Our women's health needs still are not being met, and global leaders and policymakers don't have the understanding and conviction to make a change. McKinsey's Women in the Workplace study shows that progress has been made, but more work needs to be done. More women are advancing, especially to senior leadership, to now represent 30% of vice presidents and senior vice presidents, but only 24% of the C-suite. And women of color represent less than that, less than 10%. But these women are today's leaders. They are rising up and they're creating a new leadership standard. Women are doing more than men to support their teams and their overall well-being. They're spending twice as much time as men on DE&I initiatives in addition to their day job. And women are more likely than men to advocate for women, including women of color. Businesses are performing better thanks to these women. Colleagues are feeling supported and happier. And while companies value these women, only a small number are rewarding them for their above and beyond efforts. An equal workforce has a culture where women feel valued and respected. They're comfortable bringing their ideas, their perspectives, and their best self to work. And when we have more women in the C-suite, we can have greater impact on both culture, business, and overall women's health. A recent study by Hologic, an HBA partner, and Gallup shine a light on this issue. They surveyed women from around the world to understand whether their health needs are being met. And they created a global women's health index across 116 countries. Can you believe that the global women's health score is only 54 out of 100? Now there's a short list of countries that have higher indices marginally, Austria, Germany, and Switzerland, due to higher quality of care. But these are contradicted by countries like Iraq and Peru with lower indices due to income and healthcare disparities. But the heart-wrenching facts are that women are not getting tested for chronic disease. Only 30% check blood pressure and 10% screen for cancer, the two leading causes of death for women. And over 30% of women are stressed and experiencing pain. As a UN board member, I am jazzed that the Generation Equality Forum convened to begin to address these issues. 189 countries in the Beijing Declaration recognized progress over these last 25 years, particularly in maternal mortality and contraceptive use. But women are still facing challenges in heart disease and cancer, as well as reproductive health. And if they're women of color or Asian, those challenges intensify. The forum tackled the root causes impacting equality that require a multi-sector approach, that provide women-centered care and interventions, access to community health programs with education, and an inclusive culture with women in policy-making roles supported by male allies. The forum imagined a healthier future for women's health, where global leaders and policymakers understand the healthcare experience of women and they minimize our challenge. Let's dream big for a healthier world. It's time for the Healthcare Businesswomen's Association to be the global leader in gender equality for health equity. HBA is at the heart of these global issues. We have the corporate partners, over 11,000 members, and the digital platform to make it happen. And our united force for change is stronger than ever. Our collaborative companies have doubled women's representation of senior vice presidents from 24 to 48%. And women vice presidents and higher now represent 27% of the workforce, 3 times higher than the industry average at only 9%. When we stand in gender equality, we create the conditions, the resources, and the opportunities for women to lead to their full potential. And with women as decision makers and influencers, we can improve health equity, and every woman can have access to her full health potential, improving not just individual, but also population health. So imagine a world as a result of HBA. It's more peaceful, there's more understanding, and there's more empathy. People feel good about themselves and their overall well-being. There's no more health disparities. Everyone has the ability to reach their full health potential. Healthcare services respect women. Physicians have data to personalize treatment for women of color and Asian women. And diseases that disproportionately affect women are cured. Now that's a future I want to be part of. So how do we get there? HBA is a thought leader on gender equality for health equity. We lead global roundtables with healthcare CEOs, governments, and NGOs to drive systemic change. We publish proprietary data and best practices that elevate the industry versus others, and allies sponsor all women to be influencers and decision makers. And all this is accomplished through you, the expansive, amazing HBA community across Europe, Asia, and the US, serving the greater good. Join me on the journey to gender equality for health equity, improving the lives of all women around the world. Let's share our gifts with the world to serve the greater good.